everybody. Welcome to the Four Students Podcast. It's me, Ed, and everyone's favorite, Kelly, who's yawning right there.
It's okay. I'm here.
It's totally okay.
I'm ready.
I was yawning, but I just want to give a shout out to Everybody Studios and AJ specifically, who has just come in and he's crushing it. The space is so fun and easy to record at.
They make us feel very special.
They do. And he literally just brought me a latte. He's like, you want a coffee? You want anything? And I'm like, coffee? Yeah, I'd love a coffee. And he's like, oh, we got a fancy machine. He's like, you want a latte? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I do.
With sugar and a stir stick. And literally I just sat here till he brought it to me.
In a glass mug.
In a glass mug. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Everybody Studios. If you're thinking about recording a podcast or something.
For sure. Everybody
Check them out. They're incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's up, Kelly? Here we are. It is like the third week of July.
Mm-hmm.
So we are neck deep in summer.
It's ungodly hot outside.
It really is. And my family and I have been out of town, but while we were gone in the Caribbean, it was hotter here than it was that close to the equator. I think I was 25 degrees north at one point, was the most south I went. And at 23 degrees north is where the sun's direct rays are on June 21st.
Oh, wow.
So we were very close to the sun's direct rays, although they've started moving south again as we get closer to, what is it called, I guess? Fall equinox. I think it's equinox.
I don't know.
Anyways, it was crazy hot here.
Crazy hot. It's discouraging almost. You walk outside and it's like, it just like sucks the air.
Yes, that wilting heat.
It's just like hot.
Like heat
Makes
lamp
you
kind
tired.
of. I always liken it to like, and I think it's because I grew up poor and skateboarded behind buildings all the time in the alleyway and access places behind buildings. But dryer vents, when they pump out hot air, there was some laundromat we used to skate behind.
Yeah.
And if you were near it, you just feel that hot air blowing on you. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah.
It's just
humid, hot.
And I'm thankful for on all the
grossness.
apps now, it has the real feel.
I know, because if you look at that and you're like 92, right? Okay, this is hotter than 92.
This is way hotter.
We need to feel like this is more suffocating than 92. And then so it says real feel 104.
Yes,
you're like,
exactly.
there it
that's
is.
That's what I'm
That's
feeling.
the one.
That's the number I'm
It's
feeling.
104
That's exactly
right now.
right. Yeah.
I don't care what the actual temperature
Yes.
is.
And it's funny because I remember forever it was almost a meme like, but it's a dry heat, or like, but the humidity, you know, when they talk about it seemed like always old people that were talking about that. Like it's a different kind of cold. It's a different kind of hot. This real feel does prove there really is a difference because in this humid summer, like, you know, southern heat, it is brutal.
It is brutal.
It's brutal. And you said something right before like we started recording. Talk about because I'm feeling it too. When you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's true. When you said when you get to this point in summer, describe what you were talking about?
It's like this slope, like a summer slope, where in the spring, you're so excited for summer, for the sun to be here. You get to do all of your summer activities, your beach and pool and just everything summer. Yeah. And then you hit it hard and you like start doing all of these fun things. And then right about now, mid-July, my family, I don't know if this is true for everybody. It seems like it's true for you, but you just kind of hit this like slope where you're just like tired and just hot all the time. You're craving structure, the like school year structure, and like my family is feeling that right now.
Well, it's funny when you said craving the structure. I don't even think we realize that that's what we're craving, and it feels like, no, I don't want to go back to school.
I'm super like spontaneous, and I don't like to be held down.
And have all your minutes planned out for you.
I do not like that. I am not that person.
Right.
But I realize the need for there to be some sort of structure in my week for like my kids and like expectations, knowing what's coming, and that's really important.
No, I think
shockingly,
I think you're dead center with that. Like I think there is some, and I don't know what that perfect balance is. I think you and I, even in our jobs and our lifestyles, the way we've chosen to try not to be hyper busy rat race people all the time.
Free.
Yeah, but that at the same time to have this balance of purpose and structure, but then the perfect amount of free time, flexibility, autonomy to be able to choose when to go in and out of town and know things like that. I think we're trying to figure out what that is, but structure is definitely a part of it. Like
as much as I don't want to admit it, it is.
To have some here and there or the right amount is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, so that's where we're at today. That's probably why I yawned and
Yes,
why you were saying
and why I'm
welcome.
like, I need a latte. Yeah.
Even though it's what time? 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, that's
it should
perfect
be like
latte time.
I don't know. My productivity hours start at like 3 p.m.
That's so funny. I'm super productive in them. I think if I get to something right away, a fresh mind for me is definitely better. And then late at night, if I'm with people, that can be energizing and I can be really creative. But in the middle of the day is kind of my low time.
3 or 4 o'clock ish to like 7, 8 o'clock ish. Yeah. That's when I'm most productive.
Yeah. So what we wanted to jump into today and talk about is actually it's not that fun, but hopefully as we talk about what we can do about it, it will be really helpful because I think we're all feeling this. And that is around this idea of how much bad news we get all the time.
Yeah.
And because here we are, as we're recording this, third week in July, 2025, it has just been, I feel like, nothing but bad news for a long time.
A long time.
And to kind of give you an idea, if you're listening to this, like right now, what we're talking about. For those people who might not listen to this and may hear this later, this is the time where there's been flooding all over the place.
Yes.
All of this stuff and this loss of life, catastrophic flooding
in multiple states. Like it's
and
odd.
It started like even in like, was it last fall when when Helene came through and we're in North Carolina. So all this flooding in the mountains from a hurricane, like that was just crazy. The loss of life and property there. Yeah. And then there's been all this flooding in Texas and all these different places, camp. The summer camp, that girls' summer camp, Washington. Yes. It's just constant stream, not to mention then there's all this global stuff happening. Yeah. Obviously the war with Russia and Ukraine has been going on for so long now. And now all this strife between Israel and Gaza and people starving and it's just, it feels hopeless at times and it just never seems to stop. And just when like you're starting to like, and I hate to say it, but you start to stop thinking about some of these things because it may not be happening right where we are. And so we kind of get back head down and we're back into our own lives. Something else comes boom across the headlines or shows up in the Instagram feed or whatever. You're not even necessarily looking for it. Yeah. It just shows up and you hear about it. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. How do you deal with that? I mean, are you feeling that too? Like
for sure. And I am probably not I definitely don't have it figured out. I'll say that. Because I'm a very optimistic person.
Yep.
I struggle when there's a lot of pessimism around me.
I do too. Yeah.
When there's a lot of bad, when there's a lot of negative, I tend to burrow down because I don't know. I just can't handle it.
Well, even think about us as people. We don't hang out with a lot of people who are
it's
highly
really
pessimistic. We just don't. We choose not to. Almost.
Like I just choose to not have those sorts of relationships because they're hard for me to handle. Yeah. Because it kind of pushes me over this cliff. Like I've said this before. I am so optimistic to a point, like to a point of denial, and then like you just fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
Where it's just like everything sucks.
Yes.
And so in the back of my mind, and subconsciously, I'm probably just trying to protect myself from hitting that wall. And so when it comes to social media and news and all that stuff, I'm not good at it. Like I definitely don't have that figured out because it is heavy, really, really heavy.
Yeah. And I think I'm very similar. And it's funny because we've known each other for so long. You always seem so kind of collected and calm, and I don't see big emotion out of you. Mm-hmm. I do see you get pretty excited and fired up in a board game or something that we're playing like that, or at camp or something, right? But I don't ever really see any lows out of you. Mm-hmm. And even your like big, like these kind of like big highs that you have, even I can see why they're happening or whatever. For me, like, and I don't know, maybe I seem the same way to you. I feel things so big, and I think you do too.
I do.
And I think I do have a lot of highs, and I don't know if it's a pride thing or what. I almost pride myself on not having too many lows, that I don't dip below neutral very often.
I can.
I don't know does that seem to be true from your experience knowing me?
Yeah, I've never thought about it before right this moment, but yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I think we both like I've never seen that out of you before. I don't think. Yeah. Not never, but
right. Yeah.
Very rare.
But rarely. And it's like, I don't know. It seems to take big things to knock me low for any length of time.
Or an amount of things in a row.
Yes.
Like
That's
medium,
true. Super discouraging.
Yeah, where it's been a season of things that have really just knocked us down a couple of pegs.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I think I see it on your face. You see it on my face when it comes to work stuff, where I'm just
around
like,
the table.
I just am so defeated right now.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be here because I need to refill this optimism tank, and I need a couple of things to go well. Before we can get back on track.
Or can we, we can sit and talk about all the things that went wrong, but could we pause that for a little bit and talk about all the great things that happened too? Because I need a little bit of that.
Or like, can we go get ice cream or something first? Or like play a game and then we'll talk more about the bad things.
More, return to this.
Like I need something in my reservoir.
Yeah, because so we just came back from vacation, and this conversation happened while we were on vacation. And we'll get back to this news thing and all of that. I think it's just interesting for us to address the way we naturally operate day in, day out. But I'm with my family, and like when we go on vacation, I have a really, really good, I have a really good time most of the time. I just find ways to have a really good time. When we go on vacation, it's really fun. But then when on vacation, it's going to rain all afternoon and we're like at the theme parks or we're on a cruise ship or something like that. And I'm like, well, let's go set up inside and like play games or like, let's do something else. And they're like, no, we're here. Like my family and my wife in particular is very much, we're here, we're going to do this. And Jen my wife will definitely like admit to this, because she buys ponchos ahead of time. And so not just for emergency, but like it's a rainy day. That means that lines are going to be shorter maybe at the park. We're going to put on ponchos and we're going to the park and we're just going to walk around in the rain all day. And I can be up for that for a time. But then there's a certain point where I'm just like, can we... At work, I feel like we're forcing this a little bit, and there's fun to be had other places. And they're like, someone in my family said this, and I really don't even remember who. They're like, it's so interesting. You can be so positive about so many things, but then sometimes you're just not like that positive about things. And I'm just like, interesting. Like, I feel like I'm really positive about all kinds of things, but it was fascinating to kind of then look at myself and be like, yeah, why do these certain things knock me down sometimes?
Yeah.
But all that to say, I think we feel things big, and we really do find ourselves being maybe addicted to feeling generally positive and optimistic about things. And so when this news cycle is happening and all this news is just constant, I do find myself going head in the sand, avoiding the news. I don't want to look at the news, and I really don't watch the news much. I really do limit how much news I take in.
Yeah. I'll say, like, where I know that that's a downfall is like being uninformed in this time, this era is not good either.
Right.
Like there's definitely like that's frowned upon to not.
Yeah, I would say socially it's not good.
Socially it is not good to like put your head in the sand.
Right.
Because then it's like, well, do you not care about this thing?
Right.
Do you not believe in this? Like if you believe in this thing, then you need to use your voice. And it's like, I also need to protect my like mental health and my anxiety and my all of these. Like there's so many things at play. And yeah, I don't know. I also feel a lot of shame when it comes to
I do too. That's
not
so interesting.
Being informed on certain things.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's this weird balance that we're in right now.
Well, even though I've heard the word privilege used, well, how nice that you can just ignore the news, that things are going so well for you that you can just ignore these things that are happening in these places. And there's something to that. Like it's
for
like,
sure.
yeah, that's true. My life actually is, I do live somewhat of a charmed life to some degree, certainly. But at the same time, and we've talked about this, I am not built to take in the globe's worth of bad news all the time.
Well, no one is.
Yeah, and I think that's kind
humans are not meant for that.
Right. And we've talked about this before, and we talk to students about this all the time, is that, listen, it wasn't that long ago. We were talking about this over lunch today. Like 70, so a grandpa's life, 80 years, 75 years, whatever. Let's hope it's longer, right? We joked about the fact that they're about to solve aging, and they'll solve it right around the time I'm 80, and I'll be stuck at 80 years old forever. Yeah. So, hey, hurry up. Fix that quicker, please. And if you can make it go backwards, maybe that would be awesome. But anyways, that like 75 years ago, we're talking, what's that, 1950? And how different the world was in 1950, right after World War II. I mean, all this stuff, and certainly not great things, but like how different things were. 75, one grandpa's life before that We're talking, that's 1875. That's right after the Civil War. That's 10 years after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, what a crazy different, and how much news or what people were exposed to in those two lifetimes, the difference between now and then. In 1875, the telegraph, right? I wish I used to teach U.S. history, but
I would love to know those dates, because I would think it's like horses carrying the was that then, or was that before
no, certainly,
then?
There's no automobile at that point in the 1870s. No airplanes, anything like that. The telegraph, they're sending messages during the Civil War via telegraph line. So dee, 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 Morse code, literally.
Yeah.
And you're getting a message, like stop, and then whatever, and you send and stop at the end of sentences and stuff. I mean, that's the way news was being carried.
That's not even going to a household.
No, that's going to like the train station in a city or a place,
to be printed in a
telegraph
newspaper.
Office. Yes.
And then through,
and then the crier on the corner with the newspaper is like, bye, in Washington, D.C., blah, 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 blah. And that's the way you got news.
Right.
Or people were around you. And then you think 75 years before that, that's the 1800s. Our country was founded in 1776. Yeah. So literally 3 grandpas ago.
It was Alexander Hamilton.
You know what I mean? That's crazy to think about. And here we are in this time now where it is 24 hours a day, whether you're looking for it or not.
Yeah.
You are getting news about everything that's happening on Earth. And 3 grandpas ago, you would hear about what was happening in your tiny little town or in your city. And then every once in a while, if it was huge news, you would hear about it in a newspaper. Or, because some telegraph was sent from Kansas, that this battle happened or something, on the frontier or whatever. Yep. That's wild. It's to think about.
Yeah. My brain doesn't actually wrap around all the way around that thought. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
How fast that has moved.
And it's not surprising that we feel huge overwhelmed with that. And I don't know. Because, it wasn't long before. It's like, as far as human evolution and development is concerned, it was not that long ago where the amount of news you received was your tiny village. It was a few stories of what was happening in the maybe in a huge settlement, couple hundred people around you. And then someone from a nearby settlement might pass through and tell you, oh, this happened. You're like, oh, whoa, did you hear what happened in, the next settlement over? And that feels...
We were also talking about how fast, so that first grandpa's, from this grandpa to this grandpa, like how fast that technology and like spreading of information.
Yes.
And then from this grandpa to now, like how fast, like it only has ramped up.
Yes.
And so in 2 years, we're going to have these glasses that everybody's going to have them, so that it just like constantly shows you what's going on in every country. Like it's only going to keep going faster, and it's only going to keep getting in our faces in different ways everywhere.
Right. And so I think the thing that we wanted to talk about today was talk about some evidence-based ways that maybe we can better deal with all of this information. And this idea, starting off with this idea of just the way we feel. And so we have this incredible advisory board. There's, this endless amount of information online, et cetera. And so I looked up some stuff, but is there anything that you find yourself doing personally before I go to this list of things that I have here on my laptop, that other than keeping, then avoiding it and feeling shame? Because I think those are the 2 things that I do. Is there anything else that you found helps with those feelings that you're having and as you're kind of inundated with all this news?
Yeah, I feel like it's not something new to those 2 things, but I think I feel defeated across the board a little bit because it's kind of a lose-lose. Yeah. So either I'm informed and overwhelmed.
And feeling horrible,
or I am uninformed and feel shame about
feeling horrible.
And so the happy medium in that, I don't know what that is. And I feel like it changes daily. Like there'll be something that happens and I feel super informed about this thing, and then it gets to be too much and I need to retreat. And so it's just this roller coaster of what do I do with all of this information that I can do nothing about? Right.
Yeah, I think that's the piece that I think I finally landed on. But it's funny when I just think about overwhelm generally, when I feel overwhelmed, what I end up doing. And I think you do a lot of these same things. We have trusted people that, I just find myself I need to process it out loud. I need to talk about some of the stuff I'm feeling. And there's a few people that I have access to that I can talk about that stuff with and just, this is what's going on. I'm freaking out. This feels hopeless. Like, what do we do about this? And fortunately, they're wise people in general. And so they can remind me of things, you know, and like kind of, I don't know, just push me back towards things that are helpful. Exercise. Like I will find myself, I'll go for a run. That's a big one for me. Go for a run or do a workout. And I know that you do that too. And so like, maybe even just keeping up, interestingly, I think just keeping up a regular habit of exercise maybe keeps a lot of those stress hormones lower generally. But if you're feeling it, Amy said this when she was here, you know, going and exercising.
Yeah. I think also when you're overwhelmed, you start seeing that in your world.
Yes.
Like, so if I'm really just super overwhelmed with the weight of the world, then my little world at home starts to feel that from me.
And you probably pick up more of the things that wouldn't have irritated you or whatever. They irritate you more. It's like, it feels like more little weight, like more straws added onto your back.
So do I want to be a good mom or do I want, like, there's just all these things you have to choose between, and it's really complicated and really hard.
Yeah, it is really complicated. Yeah. So let me pull these things up and let's talk about kind of some of this stuff. So one of the first things,
he just growled at us.
I did. Apologies. I do think I have a mild lactose allergy where I think that when I drink this stuff, so like this latte, I think that like extra, you know what I mean? Yeah. I hate the word mucus, but I think that my body releases more of that stuff. I think generally, I think they say lactose does that. But I think I may have that because after I drink my protein shakes or whatever, Annie will walk in 30 minutes later and I have to clear my throat like some freaking 80-year-old grandpa, you know, that was alive 75, 150 years ago. And Annie's like, did you just have a protein shake? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and then walks out because I'm in there like, like clearing my throat the whole time. So one of the first things, evidence-based things, is managing your exposure to the stuff. They were saying that we have, and this is something you can't avoid, we have two things that occur naturally in us, that we have a natural curiosity. We just want to know more.
That's true.
So you aren't going to, if it's in front of you, you aren't going to avoid it. You're going to naturally click further, maybe even go. And for me, I'll end up down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And so you just naturally want, and your brain is telling you get more information because this will help you. And so if it's there, we're going to chase after it. The other thing that happens naturally in us is when there are things that we are unsure about or we can't manage, we feel anxious. And so these two things naturally work together to make us highly, highly uncomfortable. And what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that reminded me, I love true crime stuff, like podcasts like Morbid and all of those things. Love listening to that. Love documentaries about that sort of thing. And so I was listening to that stuff constantly a couple years ago. And then I would just be so anxious and have bad dreams and all this stuff for like months. And I literally told Dane, I was like, I don't know what's different. And he's like, it's because you listen to people dying all the time on these podcasts and like people getting chased and stalked and stuff and all this stuff all the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably true. And I stopped listening to any of that stuff, which is really hard because it's fascinating. I actually really enjoy it and find like the mind of these people really interesting to listen to. But I had to like hardline stop listening to all of that stuff because of what it was doing inside of me. And did it change? It did.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like a bummer. The stuff that we enjoy isn't good for us. I mean, I guess it's not surprising if you say it that way.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
It was funny because on my road trip that I did with my girls like 2 weekends ago, they were like, do you guys want to listen to a Morbid? And Amy, who was here a couple of times ago, was like, we can't do that because Kellie can't listen to those.
It's not good for like Kellie's mental health, so we can't do that.
So I've openly shared that with people,
That's
and
hilarious.
They're like, no, we can't do that because Kellie...
You're like, no, one episode's not going to be, and I really do kind of want to listen to one.
No, I was
did
like,
you guys, did you not?
We did not.
Wow.
Because I have good friends that take care of me.
It's funny because there's all these, like, out of an older age, there are all these old sayings about be careful what you see, little eyes, or, what you hear, little ears. And like, this kind of age of protectionism almost. And now there's almost been obviously a swing in the pendulum kind of like to like, no, like kids need to be informed, or we need to know more and we can handle it and all of that. But maybe, is there a responsible place where we are considering, wow, I listen to this type of music all the time. Is it affecting the way, does it, maybe even just approaching it the way, all these therapists would say, like with some curiosity, is this affecting the way I'm looking at the world, thinking about myself, thinking about things? And back to our thoughts podcast, like, yes, all that stuff may be true, but is it helpful for me to think about it, all the time?
Yeah.
And this visual and audio diet kind of a thing of like, I guess like we shouldn't be surprised when the information we're taking in, what we're choosing starts to affect us.
Like the first one you said, exposure, I don't remember how you said.
Managing exposure.
Like if the news of the world, if these things are really affecting your body, your mental health, then like you need to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And manage that exposure to what it is. And
it's funny because right now, as we are speaking, I think it was yesterday or a couple of days ago, Tyler, the Creator, just released a brand new album. And it's funny because students that we work with love Tyler, the Creator. Chromacopia came out not too long ago, about a year ago, maybe not even. And now this new album has come out. And I want to like him so bad.
I do too.
And it's like, as an artist, like his creativity, the type of beats that he creates, all this thing. But I listened to the whole album on the drive in today. And just to hear it, and I'm just like, I probably won't listen to this again because like the way he talks about other human beings and things like that. And it's just like, I don't know. And I know it probably seems so freaking old fashioned to any student listening, but it's just like, I just don't want to be hearing someone talk about treating people and thinking about other people this way all the time.
You start to have those same thoughts and mentality, like you start adopting those things onto yourself.
It just becomes normal.
Even if you don't realize that it's happening,
maybe there's something to that. Anyways, but so managing exposure, so setting boundaries, deciding how much time maybe if you do want to be informed, limit the amount of time that you are going to like take in the news cycle or take in news, check the headlines or whatever, something like that. And then stick to it and not look at it throughout the day all the time, but maybe in the morning, hey, I'm gonna check up on the headlines. I'm not going to check out the news much more after that. This is a crazy one, limiting social media, because in social media, those headlines because it always affects the memes and the and it's just always cycling through that. And then choosing who your sources are. What is the predisposition? What is the posture that this news source, this social media source has on the world? Like, what is their outlook? Because news sources know that we are curious and we feed off of that negative and sensationalism. So they are going to constantly lead with that stuff.
And they'll put like a headline that is very misleading. And then you click into it and you read about it. It's not. It was just so that you would click into it. And
and interestingly, like another person that I really like had on their feed the other day on their story, like, remember that the people you're around are getting their news from different places. In the same event, he had snapshots of all these different headlines on these different news sources and how the incident was framed so differently in each one. And just being aware, what is the slant maybe that where you're getting your information from? Does it slant negative?
Yeah.
Does it slant, I think that's pretty smart or whatever. But then the next one is processing how you feel. Like, so acknowledging you are feeling some way, maybe even slowing down and asking yourself, is this affecting me? How is it affecting me? How do I feel about this stuff all the time when I read these things? And of course, acknowledging and validating those feelings, finding someone that you can talk it out loud with, whether that's a professional or a trusted friend or something like that. Perhaps even expressing yourself creatively. That was one outlet. Like, is there an art form or is there something that you could do to journaling or some kind of creative writing? Like if you put in a story how you felt, or you did a painting or sculpture or something, I don't know. That's, just interesting ways to express some of these emotions you're feeling. And then of course, mindfulness. And mindfulness, I think we throw that term around, but we don't often stop and talk about what it means. And I would like to remind people that it is about being in the here and now, like where you are, not ruminating on things that have happened in the past, and not worrying about things that are going to happen in the future, but I love this phrase, be where your feet are. And I think it was Dr. Johnson, but they've told me before, and maybe it's Amanda Cumbo, another one of our advisory members, that they will put their hand on their chest and tell themselves, I'm safe right now. I'm safe right now. Right? Like right now where I am, I'm safe. I'm in a safe space. I'm okay. And just like what that can do for your nervous system. And then for me, one of the things I forgot to mention, and I think maybe I've said it before, I can't remember if I've said it on the podcast, you know this, but I will go and just hug Jen. And that whole idea of co-regulation that goes back to when we were infants, even that like holding someone else close to you and breathing together and slowing down and just experiencing that touch can bring my my emotions, my nervous system kind of back at least a little bit closer to neutral. Like that idea of co-regulation is so powerful. Any thoughts around any of that stuff?
No, I think all of that makes complete sense. I feel like, I think you just have to know yourself and you have to adjust. This is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody
exactly.
has
Which
different capacities things? And one thing that when you're talking about different like news outlets, there's one that I have kind of subscribed to because it is very introductory and like just the basics. And I don't know if that would help anybody.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called Roca.
Okay.
ROCA.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's every day, every other day on their social media feed, they do a Roca wrap. And so it's a carousel. Okay. And so every page will be like a different thing that's happening in the world, like politics, finance, like all of these different things that are just kind of the highlights. And then it'll have like 3 or 4 bullet points describing like it's like the cliff notes of all of this.
Right.
And then you can kind of get caught up. And if there's something you want to do more research in, you can. If not, then you kind of just feel like you know what's going on in the world. So look it up if you're interested in that. It's a good one. I find that it's very non-biased.
Oh, that's cool to find this non-partisan.
And it's just very like to the point. Like there is no negative. There is no positive. It's just like this bland sentence of like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds helpful. No, without question. And then I think the last one here, the last category is figuring out if there is action to take, what action could you take if you feel deeply, if this feels important to you. And I think most importantly, there is something you can actually do to affect or to change this, right? I think that's one of the pieces about this worldwide news feed and this 24, hour a day kind of like deluge of information, which trends heavily negative, is that we don't know what we can do. It feels so helpless, and therefore that leads to hopelessness. Like if I can't change it, wow, the world's just going to hell in a handbasket. Like it's literally a burning dumpster. The whole like it's okay, I'm fine idea, like sitting there, the little dog just cartoon burning in hell. It's like it's fine. I'm just going to sit here. There's no hope. There's no future, and that I think changes the way we live, and certainly in our relationships, day to day. Purpose and future is a huge component of like what it means to thrive as a person. So I think number one is defining, is there anything that I can do? I care very much about this. Is there anything I can do about this? And I think even if it's something like a fundraiser, donating $5 to it, just doing something to it, or a call or an email to a senator or a representative, whether it's state or federal. I mean, do those pieces. But I think one of the hardest things is we're getting all this news, and the vast majority of it, we have no agency whatsoever to control any of it.
Yeah. It all just sits on your shoulder and starts piling
just
up.
worries.
But if you do something,
right,
then it's almost like you can relinquish that, like gain back that freedom a little bit. Like, well, I did something about it instead of letting it just all continue to pile up.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that's totally it. Identify the things you have control over and direct your energy towards those areas.
And not just letting it sit there.
And not just letting it sit there. Like, right, acknowledge the emotions, practice these techniques, and then if you can and are willing and you want to, take action towards something and know you've done something rather than just sitting there in it. Channel energy into action if it weighs heavily on you, a particular issue, volunteering, supporting a charity, participating in advocacy efforts. And I love this sentence, taking action can provide a sense of purpose and empowerment. Like, so you feel like you've done something about it. And then interestingly, prioritize self-care. Once you've done what you can do, to your point, then you have to really take care of you.
Yeah.
Activities that nurture your physical and mental well-being, exercise, healthy eating, adequate sleep, time in nature, pursuing hobbies that bring you joy, sunlight. If you're a spiritual person, like your spiritual practices. And then I love this one because this is something I do, and I try to do this actually on my Instagram feed all the time, and I think you do it too. But seek out and share positive news because there's all these beautiful, good things that are going on all the time too.
Yeah.
And if we just focus on the negative, because that's all that we're being fed, we need to seek out what good things are happening in your community, in the world.
Yeah. Like that one, Tank's Good News. I know
I
you follow
love
that
Tank's
one.
Good News.
I love that one.
Yeah, and I think that I can't remember. We'll put some links in the if you want some. There's some that we follow. I mean, or you can just search up Good News Instagram feeds probably and find far more. But I am constantly trying to fill my feed too with good news, even if it's just like a panda video. I mean, most
just
of these
something to break it up.
Something to break it up.
Know?
And I think that's what most of these, certainly most kids are doing, is they're just looking for something to distract themselves, something that's funny, some trend or something like that, or that's, something to distract themselves perhaps from all of this. But I think acknowledging the fact that there are good things happening, not only in the world, but then I think this is something you and I have talked about for years, and we talked to our kids about, our friends about, practicing gratitude. And not in some cheesy way, and not in just like I'm thankful for the same 3 things every day. Yes, but there are specific little things that happen.
So many little things.
And we're constantly holding up all the negative things that are happening, but it's because we're looking for it and we're trained to look for it. What are the beautiful, cool things that happen? Someone let you out into traffic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or someone waved at you in your neighborhood, or you got home and your mom had made this, or your dad had made this, or this letter came from your aunt, or your birthday's there's just always so many cool, beautiful things. And they may seem small in the face of the war in Ukraine or Israel, but like at the same time, beautiful things are happening all around you.
And it takes intention to see them.
Yeah.
Like you have to stop and think about what
Yes, you have to train yourself to do it. And we'll do a whole nother one about, that was part of thoughts, but we'll do another one about gratitude and what we tend to focus on and all of that. And then obviously, and hopefully this is obvious, the last part, and maybe that happens, all these things are happening simultaneously, is that there's professional support. There are people that are trained to help you process these things and help you talk through and think through, what power do I have to change this? Like what good, have you practice and walk you through and have you do these things. But I don't know. It's certainly better than the alternative of just sitting here in fear, anxiety, shame, whatever. Yeah, not bad. Hopefully some of that's helpful.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
I think we're all figuring it out together.
Yes.
I think that no human is immune to all of this, and hopefully we'll figure out how this works in years to come, whether it's like more people recognize that this is an issue and kind of start putting boundaries in place, and hopefully things start to change, the tides change for everyone, but we're figuring it out.
Well, one thing is for sure, like if you want bad news, there's never not going to be bad news. Like it's a globe full of 9 billion people, so you can find bad news if you're looking for it. But beautifully, with 9 billion people in a globe's worth of news, you can find great things happening at the same time. And so hopefully you heard something today that was helpful. That's always our hope. And so in this world of both beautiful and hard, let's try and figure out how we can carry it and support each other. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on the 4 Students Podcast.